Hello, people. So I was actually wanting to make this video last night and then I got distracted. It's kind of how it happens. It was interesting, totally off topic for what I want to talk about, but I was listening to Bashar again this morning, and it made me realize that I've worked in a way that's similar to how he describes certain people's way of thinking, right? Where you don't necessarily have the memory of specific things until it comes about where you actually want the information, and then all of a sudden it's there. I really think a lot of neurodivergent individuals, whether you're diagnosed with ADHD or autism, I think a lot of us are like that. You know how we just come up with these random facts and we just happen to know them when it's appropriate for the situation and the time, and sometimes we feel like it's not appropriate, but there's a correlation, there's a connection, right? So I think a lot of us are gifted that way, and unfortunately society wants to control that and put that down and make us feel like it's a bad thing, but it's really not. So once the thought leaves my mind, I have a hard time coming back to it until I'm triggered again and it comes to the forefront of my mind again, which it happened to do this morning. So yeah, the point of this video is I really want to reach out to my people out there who are on their spiritual awakening journey and are struggling at this point to feel connected to anyone, really. Because we reach a point when we start to elevate and level up that it starts to become very clear how much people don't really relate or understand us. But the reality of it is it's possible, at least in my case, it was very possible, because it was true, that it was my whole life. My whole life, people never could really truly relate to me or understand me. I was always open and willing to, as an example, see the other person's point of view. And I was very slow to judge or condemn or criticize. Even as a child, I did not enjoy putting people down just because they didn't agree with me or see things my way. And the more negative people were, the less likely I was to want to be around them, right? Meaning if they were being catty or petty or gossiping, I really never enjoyed that. I found it extremely unpleasant to be around. It was not an energy I enjoyed ever. And it can make it really hard, right? When you're the one who's being talked about, because it always feels like maybe they're true, maybe they're right. Are they right? So many people agree about that. And you kind of get like the Shrek syndrome. You guys remember in the Shrek movie, the first one, where he was talking about how everyone was calling him a monster, and it was really hard for him to believe he wasn't one. It's kind of like that. I'm going to call it the Shrek syndrome. So we start to wonder if these people are right. But here's the problem. That doubt literally creates an opportunity for you to tell yourself you are like what people are saying. And then your monkey brain is going to believe it because you are the creator of your own reality. And it's going to make you think that they're totally 100% telling you the truth. When really, it's their truth. It's not your truth. And again, I know that sounds very simplistic, but it's the honest to goodness truth of the matter. If somebody wants to believe you're a certain way, they're always going to see you that way. They just are. And if someone wants to believe that what you're doing is inappropriate or wrong or whatever, they're never going to change their mind until they're willing and ready. It won't matter what you do. It won't matter what you say. It's not going to change how they see you. A lot of people feel they need to advocate for themselves and defend their new views as they go through their spiritual awakening. Some people get really angry about it too, and they become very volatile and attack other points of view. And the thing is, it's interesting because I can watch a video where someone is angrily advocating for you to own your truth and own the fact that you've never lost your power. Your power's always been with you, and totally resonate with that and believe that they are totally 100% right. And then on the same hand, I can go and watch another video of somebody talking about how you need to call your power back because maybe you've left some of your energy with this person, or you've given your energy away to that person, or this idea or this energy, right? You can give your energy away to feed a negative energy. You really can. And I can resonate with that message as well, because that's their truth. That's that person's truth. And I can feel it. For them, that is true. And when the other person who's angry saying your power is with you all the time, I can resonate with that one as well, because for them, that is true. Isn't that interesting? When you can tell someone truly believes what they're saying, it's really hard not to get caught up in that energy, because it's so authentically how they're feeling and living in the moment. That is their truth. And that's the whole point. When someone says that's their truth, that's what they mean by that. That is their truth. And so this brings me to the understanding that we can't, not only can we not control what people think or see or believe about us, we have to understand that it's not for us to change how they see us. And that can be really hard, especially when you're going through your spiritual awakening and you're starting to feel really lonely because you feel disconnected from the people who are still vibrating at a certain frequency that is more negative than what you're about to vibrate at. You're leveling up, your vibration is becoming more positive, and you're coming out of a negative state, and they're still remaining in the negative state. And they're going to, negative energy just naturally wants to, it's not even the person doing it necessarily consciously, but negative energy is naturally going to not want to release you, right? Because it's feeding off of you. It's pretend it's like a leech. And it wants you to stay in that negative state because it gives it more power. Negative energy is not bad or good. It's just existing. It's just doing its thing. So it's interesting when you think about it like that. So when you realize that these people are part of that negative energy cycle, you can step back and realize it's not actually them trying to hurt you. It's not actually them trying to make you feel bad. It's not them actually trying to do anything to you. It's just they're in the negative energy. The negative energy is, not necessarily controlling them, but it's definitely guiding their actions. They still have the choice of how they want to act all the time. It's a choice. But most people are kind of oblivious to that choice. They're just coasting in that negative energy and they're stuck in it. And they don't even necessarily want to go out of it because you have to face your fears to get out of it. And that's not something a lot of people are really prepared to do. I mean, that's something I think that almost needs guidance and training from the time you're born, how to face fears and get out of it. Luckily for me, I've had so many interesting life experiences, and some of them extremely hard and painful, but every single one of them taught me to face my fears. Every single one of them showed me that the more I faced my fears, the more I went into my fear, faced head on, without hesitation, the quicker I got over it and the less it hurt, right? Whereas if I was like running away from my fear or avoiding it, it would just kind of, like nitpick and nibble at me until it became overwhelming and consuming and make me feel like poo. So yeah, if you are on your spiritual awakening journey and you are struggling with people around you making you feel less than or making you feel like you're crazy, because for them you are. That's the truth of it. For them you're crazy. For them you are going bananas. And that's their problem. I'm going to tell you that right now. That's their problem, okay? You are not responsible for how they feel. You are not responsible for how they see you. What you need to do now is focus on you. You are responsible for you. Nobody else. This is actually something my kids and I have been working on, because the place we come from, there was a lot of parentification where my children were made responsible for each other's behavior. And it was something they witnessed between me and my ex as well, where I was constantly responsible for his behavior. He made it so I had to earn any kindness or earn any kind of compassion from him. And I had to be responsible for his emotions, but it's not true. You're not responsible for other people's emotions. So I'm constantly telling my kids now, I don't want you to worry about what the other person's doing. I don't want you to worry about if they're going to get in trouble or if it's going to end up bad. That's not for you. That's not your responsibility. You have to focus on just controlling how you are reacting to a situation, how you are perceiving the information, and what you choose to do with that information. Because that is like really freaking hard. If you can master that, I mean, I don't think I've mastered that. I don't know if I ever will on this meaty flesh sack earth. Maybe I will. I don't know. But it's hard. And so that is my goal right now with my kids, is to show them that they don't have to worry about other people. They only need to worry about themselves. And it's the same thing on your spiritual journey. And even when people are trying to be kind and caring, often they don't even realize what they're doing is sharing their fears and anxieties with you. And it's not that they even mean to. They're actually coming from a place of caring. It's just they don't know how to disconnect and separate themselves from the negative emotion to see things objectively. I mean, I recently had to advocate for myself and my own capabilities to people who've seen what I've overcome, who've witnessed what I can do when I'm not in a low vibrational state. And you would think I wouldn't have to do that, but I do. So I guess what I want to say is that sometimes it can seem like people are out to get you or out to hurt you, and they're not. We have to, and this is where people always thought I was weird as a kid, because I always knew it wasn't about me when somebody was being mean or negative or attacking me. And so it was much easier, I think, for me as a child to not take it personally and not get upset or offended. And I remember I had girlfriends that used to absolutely, they couldn't stand me because I would defend the person they were bad-mouthing or gossiping about. And I would try to show them how the other person was feeling. People don't want to hear that, right? They don't want to hear you advocate for the bully or advocate for the mean girls or advocate for the guy who's treating all the other people around him like poo. They don't want to hear that. They want to feel like they're justified and being angry and upset. But what they've done is they've literally adopted the negative energy that was being directed at them, and they're now sharing it with other people. Again, you can't make energy stop existing. So if you willingly accept that negative energy, you're going to have to put it somewhere. It's going to have to come out somewhere. But the problem is once you give it out, you get it back, and then you have the circle. And this is where you have to learn how to transmute the energy. So if someone gives you negative energy, you need to step back and be like, okay, they're struggling with something. They're afraid. They're not having clear thoughts. They're stuck in maybe a pattern. Whatever the case may be, you have to be objective and give them space to have their emotions and have their feelings, and understand that it's not about you, what they're feeling and experiencing. They're mirroring their stuff in you, what they see in you. And if they can't find a mirror of themselves in you, they're going to reject you. They just are. And that can come out making you feel like poo. But again, not your problem, okay? So even when someone's trying to be nice or be kind and it comes across as controlling and manipulating, it is, but it's not necessarily intentional, okay? So I don't want you guys to feel like you have to be mean to them or that you have to defend yourself in a way that actually produces more negative energy. Does that make sense? Because it's not going to make anyone feel better. Not you, not them. It's not going to accomplish anything. Now, I have had instances where I do tell people that if they don't stop sharing the negative energy with me, I'm going to have to stop talking to them, because I only have so much capacity for transmutation some days. And I'm willing to admit that, know your limits, stay within it. And I'm still healing. It's because I still haven't overcome all of the things I need to let go of. As an example, I still have a lot of pain in my neck and my shoulders because of shame. And I haven't really reached that level yet where I can believe in my hearts of hearts that I don't deserve to feel this shame. And I will one day. I mean, it's coming. But it's still something that I'm working on, because even though logically I understand that it's not my fault, I didn't do those things on purpose, my awareness was what it was, I still feel like I should have done better, right? And I know in my heart that I'm going to eventually reach this level where I will just accept that that's who I was, and I won't have any judgment for it anymore, because that is the goal, is to not judge yourself. So if you can focus on yourself and focus on your journey and let go of the concept that these ideas that people have of you are actually about you, because they're not. Again, they're about themselves and what they feel comfortable, what they want to see mirrored in you to make them feel good, right? That's the truth of it. My kids are playing. Can you hear them screaming? They're actually playing. Anyways, yeah, so I don't know if that can help you guys as you're going through your spiritual journey, because you don't want to ever have anger or resentment towards other people that's lasting, because that's going to hurt you. That whole saying where anger is like drinking poison, it's so true. It will fester inside of you, and it will cause physical ailments as well. It really will. Yeah, I don't like holding on to anger. I do get frustration moments, but I don't hold on to them, because it just makes you feel sick. It really does. And remember, even if someone's trying to be kind and it's coming across as manipulation, again, it's actually not about you. They just don't know how to see you the way you are now. And they're not trying to make you feel bad intentionally. They're just trying to make you the version of you that is more comfortable for them. Does that make sense? So you might have to say, you know what? I'm super sorry, but I can't be the version of me that I was before. So if you can't accept me as I am now, maybe we have to spend less time together because I like me now. I mean, I love me now, so if people don't like me now, that's not my problem, because I love me now. And the more I let myself be authentically myself, and I be weird and giggly and quirky and let all my crazies out, the more I realize how awesome it is to be authentically myself. And I could never imagine going back to the person I was. And people have some pretty poopy impressions of me, right? Like, I was diagnosed with ADHD, and I had, the incapability of focusing sometimes on one specific task, because my mind actually likes to pull in information from multiple sources at once. I like to segregate my brain into different sections, and I could be reading something while listening to something, while watching something, while doing something with my hands. And to me, that's the most stimulating. To me, that's the most exciting. To me, that is the most fun. And until I started watching different videos on the power of our energetic selves and how frequency actually is what talks to our DNA and controls what genetic genomes and stuff are activated, I didn't really fully understand how awesome that gift was. So I really love that about myself now, even if it does seem like I'm scattered and like I'm not finishing a project, because I'm following a thread of information. So I'm actually listening to all these different sources of inputs for keywords and for key correlations of interesting facts, so that I can go on to the next step. So I don't have to necessarily finish one thing. I just want to keep going down that path, and I love it. But a lot of people have seen me as scattered, has seen me as flaky, has seen me bright, whatever they wanted to call me or label me. And a lot of people still think that I'm going to be incapable of functioning like a proper grown-up. Don't get me wrong, some things do take more effort on my part to focus on. Not gonna lie. But it's getting way easier for me to allow myself to go into the state of flow, where I can do a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and and maybe not everything gets done at once, but I do little baby steps all at once, all at the same time, for a whole bunch of things. And it's kind of fun. It's just how I like to function. And I'm learning to not just accept that, but to really enjoy it, because that is how I function. It's like when I cook supper, I don't want to just cook the meal. I want to cook the meal, do the dishes, listen to a podcast, talk to my kids, clean up something on the floor. I like to do a multiple of things at once. I just do. I love it when I'm like doing a whole bunch, because otherwise I get bored. If I'm trying to just do one thing, for me, it's boring. It's not stimulating enough. It's just not. So I want everyone to understand that it's okay if you don't meet the standards or the society's images of what is appropriate, and you don't necessarily have to care. This is a big one. You don't have to care if you're not mirroring what other people want you to mirror to get them into a place of comfort. Not your job. Not your job. You are allowed to be you. You are allowed to elevate. You are allowed to vibrate higher. You are allowed to become a better version of you every day. Every day you can become a better version of you. It's pretty awesome when you think about it. And if you can take a step back and recognize that their kindness, act of kindness, where they're trying to show you all the things that you're forgetting and give you anxiety and fear about all the things you're not doing in preparation of the things you need to do, because I'll be honest, I'm the person that has always had an insane amount of trust in the universe and how things are going to work out. And I mean, it's my level of trust in the universe probably makes most people astronomically uncomfortable, because I don't worry about a backup plan. I don't worry about an exit strategy. I don't worry about what if. I'm just like, oh, I want to do that. And I don't even doubt it. I don't question it. We're doing it. It's how I've been most of my life. And I can't explain it other than the fact that a lot of the life lessons I must have signed up for, that I decided to all do at once, help me. They help shape me for this right here, right now. And I love it. So, recap. People's negative emotions that they're sharing with you are not about you. It's them trying to keep you in a vibrational state that mirrors their most comfortable version of you that they want to keep. So it's not your problem. And you're allowed to be you. And you're allowed to move on without anger at them. Okay?